Please be seated. I am the one whose praise echoes on high. I adorn all the earth. I am the breeze that nurtures all things green. I encourage blossoms to flourish with ripening fruits. I am led by the Spirit to feed the purest streams. I am the rain coming from the dew that causes the grasses to laugh with the joy of life. I call forth tears, the aroma of holy work. I am the yearning for good. Today we remember Hildegard von Bingen. Hildegard was a mystic, artist, musician, and poet. She wrote the poem I just read called I Am. When I hear Ecclesiasticus today and today's psalm, it reminds me of this poem and Hildegard's relationship with the Creator, with I Am. I can imagine Hildegard praying the words, "The glory of the stars is the beauty of heaven, a glittering array in the heights of the Lord." A woman born at the dawning of the 12th century, I've long admired her willingness to speak out against the actions of the church and to call the people of the church back into the balance with creation, created, and creator. Hildegard seems to have used her marginalized status to speak out against abuses as an outsider of the church's leadership, and she was able to gain significant spiritual authority and had an important voice, in spite of having been a woman. As a woman, she had found education and spiritual growth in religious communities after being dedicated to the church by her parents as a young girl. She was their 10th child and a tithe to the church. As a deeply spiritual woman, her visions about creation and God were published and had surprising impact. Hildegard was head over heels in love with God and with creation. Her experience of God was richly sensory and expressed in music, poetry, art, and her interaction with creation. She yearned to wake up her contemporaries to the beauty of creation and the love of the Creator. She said, "As the Creator loves creation, so creation loves the Creator." The creation, of course, was fashioned to be adorned, to be showered, to be gifted with the love of the Creator. The entire world has been embraced by His kiss. Her words invite us out into nature to see God's love in a droplet of water, in the shimmer of a dragonfly's wings, to hear God's voice in the song of the bird or the chatter of a squirrel, to fill our hungry soul with God's creation. We yearn to be filled. Our souls are hungry to be fed, thirsting for that something missing. Our society shows this starvation as we try to fill up a void with material things. Hildegard saw this happening in the 12th century, and sadly, it has not changed. That emptiness we can get trapped in is not benign. It leads to selfishness and injustice. When we yearn for more and fill it with the wrong thing, we end up in scarcity. And as we get more and more isolated in cities and quarantine, our hunger becomes greater. We forget to love our neighbor, and we take paths which deny creation and Creator. We deny what we truly need and fall into toxicity. In our hunger, we deny justice to others. We take from others. We are stuck in a pattern of taking, and it is never enough. It's startling to hear Hildegard talking about the same type of problems that we talk about today. In one of her apocalyptic visions, she says, "The greening power of the virtues faded away, and all justice entered upon a period of decline. As a result, The greening power of life on earth was reduced in every seed because the upper region of the air was altered in a way contrary to its first destiny. Summer now became subject to a contradictory chill, while winter often experienced paradoxical warmth. There occurred on earth times of drought and dampness. Creation, out of balance, falls out of the patterns it was designed to follow. And as creation becomes imbalanced, life does as well. Justice and creation are ineluctably tied together. As we lose sight of creation, we forget that we are created as well. We are creation. When we ignore creation, we ignore what we were made to be. We deny God's image within ourselves. And yet, there's a path back. A path through creation to Creator. Loving creation, we find God's love. Immersing ourselves in creation, we wash in God's love. We fill ourselves up, and we find justice as we find balance. Hildegard invites us into creation to see the abundance of God and to fill our souls up with God's love. Hildegard's love of God led her to one inevitable place that love of God can lead, to loving justice and loving her neighbor. I invite you to find a space of peace and tranquility in creation. A place where you can feel God's love envelop creation, where you can remember that the Creator loves you as well. Fall in love with God and God's creation. Fill yourself up with creation and let the justice flow forth.